Welcome back to another episode of Your Road to Home, our podcast for the Carbon Valley that takes you beyond your front door. I'm Kendra Badgekar with LPT Realty. I almost forgot to introduce us again. Here with
Maxine Carey of BOK Financial.
Awesome. And today we have such a treat for you guys. We're getting ready to pick up Bill and Mike Hattel. And Mike Hattel is one of the OG residents out here in Carbon Valley. He has lived out here for, I don't even know yet. I can't wait to hear how long he's lived out here for. But his son has as well. And they've both been heavily involved in the community. So we're excited to just chat with them, learn some more about the history of the area, and see what they have to share with you guys.
I was talking to him just for a minute, and Mike graduated in 1958.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So he knows some history. I think him and his wife curated most of the museum pieces that are around Frederick.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be a good one.
We're gonna just let him get in the car.
How we doing, Mike?
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Hi, Bill.
Hello.
My goodness, how are we doing today, guys?
Good.
Good. We just gave a little intro about you. And what year did you say Mike graduated?
I was telling everybody, Mike, you graduated in 1958, right?
Right. Yes. And you were born in.
And you graduated with honors, right? On the honor.
Well, thanks to my wife
Nice.
or my girlfriend.
Yeah, your girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
All right, did you marry your high school sweetheart?
Yes, I
Yes.
did.
Oh my gosh.
They were married 63 years.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Married when we were 19 and 20.
Yep, 1960
Wow.
they got married.
So can you tell us all the secret of a long, happy marriage?
Yes.
Listen to mom.
She was the boss. She had a strong arm, boy.
Yeah,
She'd take the wooden spoon to these guys all the time.
Italian women like to use the wooden spoon.
That guy there,
Right here.
that
Oh.
statue, that's Bob Moore.
So who's Bob Moore?
It's Moore Farms. This
Oh.
used to be his property. And we kept a horse on this property for years. We'd chase him all day, catch him, run him about a half an hour, and then turn him loose again.
Oh, wow.
And he's buried behind my house over there.
Hold it, the horse is?
Yeah.
Billy is his name. Billy the horse.
Oh, that's amazing.
So this was all horse farm and cow farms.
They were digging a basement over there, and they found the skeleton of Billy the horse.
Oh
That's too
my
funny.
gosh.
And the lake was accessible when you were there. You would go fishing and swimming and everything. But when I grew up, we really couldn't go around the lake. It was fenced off.
The lake was...
And then whenever the town decided, you bought it from Firestone because it was the Firestone Lake for years.
For $1.
Yeah. And then Frederick bought it and annexed all this area, and then they refurbished the lake and made it what it is today.
Wow, that's interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah. And this, Colorado Boulevard was called Road 13.
Yep.
We
County
never,
Road 13.
I don't know what is Colorado Boulevard. And this, the cows would get out, and a lot of my friends and family hit the cows because they would stand in the middle of the road at night.
They caught a 22-pound catfish out of that lake.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a big fish.
That's a huge fish.
That is a big fish.
And my dad in Moore Farms was one of the first homes to be built here.
It was the
First home. And I lived 5 doors down from him, and mine was the last.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Because I moved back here 5 years ago. 6 years now.
So you and Betty curated a lot of those statues in the town.
My mom.
Your mom?
My mom was named Laberta.
Oh, Laberta.
Laberta.
Okay.
Yes. Her name, Laberta Hattel, and my dad were both on the Arts Commission for years. And they commissioned the statues.
My wife done a lot for this town.
Yep. They commissioned a lot of the bronze statues. They would go and find, well, you worked with one lady at a Loveland, I think. They also, all the wind kind of mills down on Colorado Boulevard.
Yeah.
My mom and the Arts Commission got those. They went to
Oh, no
Santa Fe
way.
and worked with the artist in Santa Fe.
Those
Wind turbines.
in front of my house.
Yeah.
Come from Santa Fe.
This was all farming.
Yep.
All this, you know, the church was not here. The church was
Yeah,
downtown.
no, the church is very new. Yeah.
Yeah, and
What was the population when you were here, Mike?
300 or 400 maybe.
yeah.
Wow.
then
And
I
what's
was
the population now?
Now we're at pushing 40,000.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably 5, 6 maybe when I grew up. But yeah, this road didn't really exist.
I dedicated this church for Frederick.
Did you
You
really?
did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were on the town board.
Yeah.
Dad and my mother as well was also on the town board for many years.
12 years.
12. You were 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
So was she.
Was she 12 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Together or separate?
Together.
Some
Okay.
together, and then she
Went more than I did.
Yeah, you kind of retired.
I quit.
And
Got tired of the people.
That's fair.
yeah.
That is fair.
I
Yeah.
told them, if you like what I say, fine. If you don't, that's fine too.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's sometimes what you got to say.
Yep.
Sometimes
This
what you
house
gotta,
here is a friend of ours. It's Erie Doring and Jerry. And he was mayor of the town for a while.
Yep.
And we
Wow.
had an old Italian lady that lived across the street. And when she seen him, she walked over there and she looked at him and she says, "Oh, you're the biggest chicken shit now."
Yeah. So she was.
And I tell you,
Her name was
funny.
Cola Ciccarelli, and she was kind of this lady that just, you know, they all worked at the school. A lot of the women worked at the school in the lunchroom.
Mm-hmm.
My mom worked. She was a librarian in the elementary, and then went up to the high school her final years.
she stole some chickens. She worked at a restaurant and she stole some chickens. She put them in her trunk and forgot them there.
Oh no.
They had to sell the car and stuff so bad.
oh boy.
So there was a lot of old, creative or character type Italian women that lived here. You know, because a lot of this town was Italian.
Really?
That was
I
your
didn't know
cousin
I only
lived
knew that
over
from
here
the miners thing.
dating us.
So yeah, if you see the miners' lists on the wall, you'll see a lot of Italian names. They would come here and work, and the men would come and work and try and save up money, and then they would send it back to Italy. And when they had enough to bring the family, they would.
Wow.
They'd go to Trinidad first, and then they migrate down here.
Yeah, a lot,
Okay.
because it was a lot of coal mining. This area was based on the coal mines.
Right.
Like a lot of the homes was what they called miners' homes. They would ship them in from other parts of the country,
Yeah.
and then you guys would buy them, and then they lived in it. Like,
We should take them down to Frederick. Tom.
oh, I'm sure they are.
So, Mike, you didn't work in the mines, but your
No.
dad did?
No.
Your dad worked in the mines?
My grandpa.
I worked at Rocky Flats, and I got a disease from Rocky Flats.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
he has borreliosis, which is
Borreliosis.
a disease from the.
Radium.
So my father worked at Rocky Flats for 30-something years,
Yeah.
then retired in his early 50s, and went and worked for and drove the school bus for 22 years.
21 years.
21
Oh,
years.
fun.
Wow.
Yep.
I was crazy.
He loved it.
Someone's got to do it.
He would take him to all the sports games, and you know.
I've seen a lot of things on that bus.
I'm sure you did.
That's kind of like Las Vegas, Mike. What happens on the bus
Yeah.
stays on the bus.
That's right.
Yeah.
And none of this was around. Well, you would go. These were all watermelon fields. A lot of them.
Out
Oh
that
really?
way,
Watermelon out
Yeah.
here.
We
Okay.
steal watermelons at night,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and Laberta was the driver. I had a 36 Chevy with suicide doors, and she drove us stealing watermelons.
Oh, that's the best.
Well, that's why you loved her for so long, because she was part of the crimes.
Right?
Yeah.
Then we stole, I don't know how many bags of onions.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Then what
gosh.
are you going to do with onions?
Well, they would
Right.
also, a lot of, like, some of the women when their husbands would work in the mine, they would work in the farms. They'd go pick
Sure.
peas, or they'd pick green beans, or they'd pick, onions,
I picked a lot of beans.
cucumbers.
Yeah.
You stole cucumbers from my great grandmother.
She'd be picking them ahead of me, and before she knew how to do it, I'd steal them out of her bag.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Make
They
it look like
came-
you were working harder.
She chased me once,
My grandmother came. She lived here late 20s.
dressed in black.
Yeah, her husband died in 1948. She wore black until she died in 85.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Wow. Almost
Hold it,
40
that's your
years.
grandma?
that's my great grandmother. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Didn't speak any English.
Telling about the one that was on the gypsy trailer.
So her mother, my great grandmother, was alive. She passed in 48. But they would have gypsies that would come into town. And my mother always said they told them, don't talk to the gypsies because they'll take you.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they couldn't find my grandmother, but there she was on the gypsy wagon sitting on top. They were going to take her.
Oh my gosh. That's wild. They obviously stopped it before it got
Yeah,
too far.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, this was a very huge Hispanic as well, but Italian community. Like if
Yeah.
you drive through Frederick, the old town, it was house after house after house, and they all came from our little town in Italy, in Canzano. So they all worked there, and they would hear that there's jobs here, so they would come here. My grandmother came during World War II. They had escaped the Nazis, so they came to here because her father was here.
Wow. How do you know all this? Like, you've got a pretty good memory for this, also.
I do. I just because I love my Italian heritage.
Yeah.
And I love the stories that they would tell.
That's amazing that you remember that too.
Bunch of wops.
Yep. Bunch of Italians.
They
And
also called them dudes.
yep. And they would make wine
So-
every year.
Was
Oh,
the town named when your family settled here? Do you know that?
I am. Yeah, I believe so because it's
Well,
it's over 100 years old. So
There's 3 towns, Firestone, Frederick, and Decona.
Yeah.
They were all named after sisters.
well,
That's
no,
right.
I thought
Dora,
Dakota.
Cora,
Yeah.
Mora,
That was
Dory.
Dakota. They were named after the 3 sisters.
Yeah.
Oh, just that town was. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
was?
hearing that story.
Yes, it's 3 sisters: Dora, Cora, and Nora.
That's right.
Right.
But Frederick, I believe, was Frederick when my family came.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
they came, my family came in the late 20s. And so did your side. My dad's half Russian and half Italian.
Okay.
So
I'm a Ruski.
yeah. His
that what they call
Italian
you?
family came probably about the same time as my side did. But they were from Rome. They were from a different area in Italy.
Okay.
We had all kinds of bars in Frederick. We had the Screwball Inn, Friendly Tavern, Peach Place. We had, did you know Rosemary Clooney,
Yeah.
the singer?
Yeah.
She came to Frederick and she sang at Peach Bar.
She
Oh,
married my
wow.
cousin,
Oh no way.
Dante DiPaolo.
Wow.
They were he wanted to be in show business, so they moved to California so he could become a star, and they dated for years, and then they kind of broke up, and then they got back together and they married and lived together for many years after. And she would come here when she'd do her concerts, and she'd come and she'd have to see
Wow.
my great grandmother, and we'd have these big Italian dinners, and then she'd go do her concerts in Denver.
Yeah, that's
I went
amazing.
and sat with Fess Parker.
Yeah, he was probably there. All of this here, to the left of us,
Yeah.
was the Coors feedlot. So this was all cows
Okay.
from probably Colorado Boulevard all the way to I-25. It
Oh,
was
wow.
all cows.
Okay. We're driving down Highway 119 right now, headed east.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
This farm here,
This one?
they used to give us milk and we'd make cheese out of it.
Yep. So this side was the milk farm. This side was just the feedlot for Coors, which
Okay.
I don't really know the difference, but yeah, this was the milk. We'd get milk. None of this was here. this is fairly, what, the last 15, 20 years?
They invaded us.
Yeah.
So
This was all farms.
Right.
So Frederick and Firestone, you know, they're kind of intermingled now. And
Yes.
Well, there's
before
Frederick, Firestone, Evanston,
Yep.
and Dakota.
Yep.
Evanston.
Evanston was called Little Mexico.
Yep. That
Oh.
little strip between Firestone and Frederick.
Yeah, like Johnson Street.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. That's Evanston. And
Yes.
that's still part of the county.
Yeah, I think that's unincorporated William
Yep,
County right
yep.
there. There's like that one little strip right there. Yeah.
And then over to our left of 119 here, as we're heading east, that was turkey plants
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and also the pig farms.
a lot of turkey plants.
Yep, a lot of turkey plants.
So how come you never came and worked over here at the pig farms instead of and left Rocky Flats?
I don't want those pigs.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
We used to butcher pigs.
yeah.
We'd soak them in hot water, scrape them, butcher them, cut them up, eat them.
So they did a lot of, you know, because we were poor. They gardened
Yeah.
and they, you know, kept all their gardening. They would make wine every fall. Every year, my mother would get a brand new pair of rain boots so she could stomp the grapes. Because they didn't have a press. They
Right.
did, but they still had to stomp the grapes.
Wow.
Well, I think that's just how everybody lived back then too. Like
It is.
you know,
Yeah,
like,
they lived
they
off
just
the
like
land.
homesteaded and
Yep.
shared what they could, and you know.
Still have the grape smasher.
Yeah, we do. You know, my grandmother would make homemade pasta. And, you know,
My Russian grandma made caboose.
made not cabbage, but
It's cabbage, but it's put in barrels and seasoned
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff.
What's it called?
Caboose.
Is that more similar to sauerkraut then?
yeah, kind of.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would try that.
Now this was
Yeah.
all. Now I had friends out here. This was called Casa Grande, and
It's still called that.
Still
Yeah,
that-
the
yeah.
estates on the side are still Casa Grande. Yeah.
yeah, and you know, a few people lived out here that lived in the farms.
Mhm.
But yeah, this was all farmland.
Wow. Yeah, it has definitely changed
It has.
dramatically in the last couple decades.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and before we got in the car, I asked Mike how many people were in his graduating class. And Mike, what did you say? 30 people in your graduating class?
32.
32.
My mom's he graduated in 1958. My mom graduated in 59. I think she had 17.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there was always a, you know, depending on when the kids were born.
Yep.
And then I was telling you, we lost our high school in 1960. They closed it. I think 60 or 61. And a lot of people went to Erie High School. And then we got it back in 1980.
There was a farmhouse south of the school called the Johnson Farm.
Yeah.
And there was an old chandelier in there, and it was beautiful.
So that is where the park is, across from that cement school, on not Fifth Street, where they hold all the balloon festivals and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that.
Right across from Spark Preschool.
Sure.
Yes,
That was
yeah.
at elementary school when I grew up.
Right.
And I wanted to go steal the chandelier, and Laberta wouldn't let me. And 2 days
She's
later,
a good woman.
2 days later, the kids got in there, smoked and burned the house down.
No way.
Yep. They
Oh,
were gonna make that a museum.
There went the
Oh.
chandelier.
Yep. That was the only thing left on that farm.
Well, and you helped with the museum here in Frederick,
yeah,
right?
We put it together.
Yep.
Me and Laberta.
You and Laberta.
Wow.
Mostly Laberta.
So what did you do with that? You just went out to some of the community members and got
Mhm.
different items and
90% of it is my stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
oh really?
Because we donated from our family. You know, the lamps that they would wear on their heads,
Yeah.
their hats, their lunch buckets,
There were lanterns.
yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of some of this, you know, the bronze statues that are in the museum.
I think we can get in there if you want.
I think we have to call ahead. But mom and a lot of the team, the bronze statue that's in the Miners Park, they depicted when their father would come home from the mine, and they would greet him, and they would always wonder what he left in their little lunch pail. that was their little gift.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
What is the saying of that? Father comes home or something?
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were instrumental, both my father and my mother, on the Miners Memorial. You got that pretty much going, and
She got all those names.
all the names.
Now she did.
My mother had a memory like she knew everybody.
That's amazing.
Somebody would post a picture on Facebook of somebody from way back when, and nobody knew who it was, but my mother did.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Did you guys have any influence on Miners Day? That's actually coming up this Saturday here.
Yeah, they did. They did.
We started it.
Yep.
You started it?
Yep.
Yep.
That is amazing. What a fun festival you guys have created. I mean, that's really grown over the years. I've got a booth there this Saturday. It's one of my favorite events, local events that we have.
We had big parades.
It was nice when there was, back. It's been a while when you started it.
Yeah, what did it look like when you guys started it compared to what it is today?
They had the parade, and we still had a few miners that were still living.
Mm-hmm.
So
They'd ride on the
they'd
float.
ride on the float,
Oh, cool.
and then it would be in Miners Park, and then they would always have a dedication with the names every year.
We'd build floats and we'd have chicken wire and stuff them with newspaper
Mm-hmm.
or napkins.
That's
Thousands
awesome.
of napkins.
Yeah, we
man.
did that too in high school.
Yep, that took hours.
Yeah, we would be in somebody's garage or in the farm, and
Fluffing them.
yep, we
Yep.
had a big garage. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, this was all country roads. All this road. Dirt.
I got in a lot of trouble with my pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Dirt
can imagine.
I spin around the corners, throw dirt all over.
Yeah.
One Mexican guy, or one Italian guy told me, if I would have had the gun, I would have shoot to you.
Oh no!
Emilio.
Yeah. My dad was a little troublemaker.
Yeah, no,
Was
You were just having fun, weren't
Yeah.
you? You were just having fun.
I got in a lot of fights.
But tell us, have you grown out of that, or is it still lingering?
Well,
He's feisty.
Yeah.
Tell him about 1956 basketball.
we took state in 56.
Oh, awesome.
You ever watch the Hoosiers?
Yes. Love that movie.
Seen all the cars leaving the town?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happened to Frederick. We all went to Denver to, what the hell was it over there?
It was probably where the National Western Stock Show is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Coliseum.
Yep. So that was in 1956.
We took state.
Yep.
That's amazing. Oh yeah, the whole town will celebrate
His
that.
brother was on the team.
My brother got all state.
Yeah. My
Wow.
brother, my uncle and my dad were 11 months apart.
Okay.
So they
Irish
were pretty
twins.
close.
Yeah.
And, to the day. 11
Wow.
months to the day.
That's amazing.
So you and your brother's names are both on the trophy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you think it's still at the high school?
Yes.
Very cool.
Should be.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I know one teacher, Roger Dufour, was pretty instrumental about keeping that going.
Yeah.
And
We have a celebration once in a while.
yeah.
That's great. That is great. What's one of your favorite things one of your favorite changes that you've seen in the area? I know it's been a lot and probably not always a good thing,
Too
but
many people.
what's
That's
one of
a-
your favorite things that you've
yeah.
seen?
What's the favorite thing?
Yeah. I know there's been a lot of hard changes, but
I don't know, really.
Well, you liked all the statues. You really liked doing the statues and being part of the Arts Commission.
yeah.
They done all them statues with chainsaws.
Yeah, do you get out for that event?
Oh, yeah.
I love that one too.
Yeah.
Chainsaws and chuck
Yeah.
wagons. That's a fun one for sure.
But you also, you were very instrumental in, the bronze statues and
Everything.
getting that going. The last one I think you and Mom worked on is the one by the town building where the man and the woman are stomping grapes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because that was such a vital part of our, in the fall,
Yeah.
everybody. I mean, the grape truck would come and they would drop crates of grapes and then they would make wine and
Down the street, smelled every house that was making wine.
yep.
That's awesome. What does it take to have a good wine?
Huh?
What does it take to have a good wine?
Age.
Yep, the barrels.
6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
In
still
old
have,
whiskey barrels.
Okay.
we still have some in my grandmother's basement.
Do you really?
We still own the house and
Wow.
Yeah.
My niece lives in there, and there's still some wine barrels. I don't know how good they are. We haven't seen them for a few years,
They
but
might have fell apart.
they could have.
Wow.
But
That's some incredible history to have.
yeah, and our little Catholic church isn't this one that is off to our left. It used to be downtown,
Mm-hmm.
and then that burned a few years. Maybe it's been 10 years now. But everybody was married there, baptized there, funerals, everything.
Right.
It was sad when they tore it down. That was,
Yeah, that would be sad.
you know, it was small, but there was a lot of history there.
Yeah.
We, my family helped build it. You know, of course, donate.
In fact, there's a stone in there with their names on it.
Oh, wow.
That's at the new church.
Yeah, by the
That's at the new church.
Very cool.
Let's see what. Yeah. And what else did you do in town? You were on the town board for many years.
everything we did in town. It
Yeah.
wasn't for us, nothing would have been done.
Yeah. You
That's
know,
amazing.
People just didn't take interest.
Did Frederick and Firestone get along back when you were part of the city council stuff? 'Cause I know there's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
always some issues today, but
I think so because they knew each other. Well, and you were also the police commissioner for a while.
Oh yeah. I was big shot for a while.
Yeah.
wow.
You did that
Yeah,
for
you
how
had
many
your hand
years?
in everything.
12 years. I
12
think.
years. Well, yeah. And
So-
this was a little school, right, Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a little school right there,
wow.
that brick building.
I remember when we used to go there. Joyce Chester and Margie Chester. They lived out here on the farm.
And the farm, I think it was for the farm kids,
Yeah.
so they didn't have to go into town.
Very cool.
Well, what do you think it takes to build a community?
That's a good question.
What?
What do you think it takes to build a community? You know, you and Laberta worked so hard to bring the community together and bring all sorts of stuff to the community. You know, more culture, more all sorts of different stuff.
Well, people migrated from Trinidad and all the way here, and they seen it was good here, so most of them stayed.
What do you think kept them here?
Coal mines.
Just the coal mines work.
So the job, the work, and
The
stuff.
work, and I think family.
And then Rocky Flats was 50 miles away.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of people that worked at Rocky Flats.
There was-
wasn't
Yes.
Yeah.
a large amount.
We
Yeah.
drove 50 miles a day, well, one way a day.
Yeah,
Right.
but it, you know, back then that was very good money and
Mhm.
Yeah.
very good insurance, and
Yeah.
you know, unfortunately,
I had 36 people working for me over there.
a lot of
Wow.
them are paying the price now, but
Right.
we didn't know that back then.
Right.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
So you worked all day at Rocky Flats and then came back and gave to your community
Yep.
to kind of build this area up to,
Right.
Yep.
you know, were you instrumental with getting the big grocery stores here like Safeway, and you know, Safeway's been here a long time, right?
Well, Safeway was Firestone, so
Okay.
that was yeah. But you were instrumental in getting a lot of the. I don't remember the company. One of the big companies here, medical companies
Yeah. I can't remember.
that was here. They just, you know, I think they just believed in community and family, and I think
Right.
everybody loved the town because it felt like their town in Italy.
Right.
So it really wasn't a departure, and they, you know, they knew people back in Italy that was here,
Right.
and a lot of them never went back. You know, it took 55 years before my grandmother went back to Italy.
Really?
That's
Mhm.
amazing.
So is that how it worked for your family too? You said, you know, the men would be here working in the coal mines
Mhm.
and then save money for the women.
Yes.
Is that how, you know?
Yes, that's how my grandfather, his father came here and worked, and then when they finally had enough money, my grandmother, that would be my great grandmother, my great great grandmother, and my grandfather came, and then so there was that 17 years difference between him and his sisters,
Okay.
Got it.
which was a pretty common in this area.
Yeah.
Because, you know, back then they probably made 25 cents a day, if that.
Yeah, not very much.
Gosh.
We have some of your grandfather's pay stubs.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of money back then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
They
That.
come home coal black.
Yeah.
All because you with their teeth in their eyes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's too funny.
But yeah, my dad was born in Firestone on 2nd Street, right?
I think the house is still there.
I think he's still there. My mom was born on 3rd Street in Frederick.
Wow.
We were born in Longmont, of course. We had a hospital there.
Right?
That's when they had midwives.
Yeah.
Yep. They did, but there was just a lot of community and family, and when you got married, you had big weddings, and all the women would cook. So all these fields, you see a lot of hot air balloons now. Nothing compared to when I grew up, because they were all fields, so they could take off, and it was pretty amazing. And across the street, we grew up on 1st Street in Frederick, and across the street was just a field, and they would land in the field and take off from there. And
One that in the wires. Telephone wires.
that was one of the parachuters. We had a lot of parachuters back then.
Right. I do love that about the area. I see them almost every morning when I'm out walking.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
He was just hanging there. The fire department had to get him out.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep. A lot of, this community's grown a lot since,
Well, yeah, even since since my time, it was quite a bit after his, but
Right.
it,
Well, I was going to ask you that because you said you came back to the area. So you left for a little while?
I moved away, lived in Denver for many years, and then just came back about 6 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you glad to be back?
Yes, surprisingly, shocking. I never thought I would move back here, but we love it. It's
Laberta needed him.
yeah. I was my mother's caregiver for her final years, but it's funny. We go back to Denver, and we look at each other and say, "I could never live here again."
What were we doing?
Just driving down I-25, or when I grew up, it was called the Valley Highway, and it was barely 2 lanes, and now it's just you go into Denver and it's just so chaotic, and
Right.
you can't find a parking spot, and we're just not used to that.
Yeah.
And it is, and where we live in Moore Farms is very quiet and kind of secluded, and we knew everybody on the block because Mom and Dad lived there for so many years before we moved in.
Right.
So we knew everybody. That was a pretty. They used to have block parties, and
I think this used to be called Becker's Corner.
oh, was it?
I think so.
Okay.
Why was it called that?
People lived right here. It was called Becker's.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. And then up a little bit to our left here is where some friend of mine, the Collins family, they raised greyhounds.
Oh wow.
And they would race them up in Greeley. That was what Mr. Collins did for a living.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Remember that teacher?
They would all go up there,
The races were, say, number 7 race. And she bet on number 8
and she
and won the race.
Yeah. So her mom working at schools for so many years, they would go up and, go to the greyhound racing, or when they had the horse racing at the end of the year, and Mom would have a big party at our house, and they would go up.
We had a lot of big parties.
Yep.
At our house.
We did. Everybody
awesome.
did. When somebody got married in town, the whole town went.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah,
if you
everybody
didn't invite
celebrates,
them, you were in trouble.
You would hear about it.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's the Italian way, isn't it?
Oh, yes, very much
That
so.
big.
Even if they're not going to come, you still send an
Yeah.
invitation.
Yep.
Yeah.
The walks are crazy.
Yep, we Italians can be crazy. We make cookies.
Oh, I called her. I called Laberta Dave all the time.
Yep.
So her uncle was there, and he was an old Italian, and I called her Dave. He looked at me and he took after me, and I ran out of the house.
Oh, no.
And he was chasing me.
Oh.
That's a derogatory name.
It's too funny.
But they would make cookies, all kind, pizzelles and all kinds of
So good.
cookies.
They don't
and,
know what a pizzelle is.
I do. I have a lady that makes them for me.
Oh, do you?
Yes, an Italian friend who makes them for me.
What is it?
It's the thinnest.
Waffle cookie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a waffle. It's kind of like a waffle iron, and the true
Oh, I think I know what
pizzelle
those
are
are.
made with anise oil.
Yes.
So they're strong, like black licorice. And they've got, their little imprint. It's a little thin.
They're
cookie.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
They come out. They look like little snowflakes almost.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay. I can't remember what we used to call them.
We used to make chops.
Yeah, there was a cookie that was pretty specific to the region where we grew up. It was pretty intense to make them, and we would make them, just for weddings or babies'
Yeah.
showers, or and all the old women would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and come over
gosh.
and make the dough. And,
All the old Italians.
Yep, yep. And they never shared the recipe.
Wow.
So
They all had aprons.
yep, they all wore aprons and
Great big boots hanging in aprons.
The Italian way.
so they.
Billy didn't like I said that.
So they would, I finally watched them maybe like 4 times, and the recipe was different every single time.
Oh,
And they didn't have a recipe; it was all in their mind.
right.
A pinch of this, a
Yep.
pinch of that.
Some of that. I said, "Well, the last time you did this, well, we're not doing that this time."
Yeah.
So my
That's
mom
funny.
finally got the recipe and got it down to where it's. But nobody, nobody knows how to make them anymore, and
Man.
We still got to make that recipe book for Mom.
yeah, my mom was a very good cook.
Oh, so you're gonna make a recipe book?
I
think
would
so.
like to memory,
That would be
just
awesome.
sort of a storybook with recipes of her life and some of the different, things that she did. And,
That's a great idea.
That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
What a great way to
yeah, because
keep a
food
memory.
was,
Yeah.
such a vital part of our life.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had spaghetti twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays, and Sunday you would go to church and come home and have big dinners and,
Yep.
big pasta and meatballs and
I think that's any family though, like, being around the table and food and, just breaking bread together.
Yep.
yeah, we, and they made everything, my grandmother would make homemade bread, and my other grandmother would,
Make
spaghetti.
raviolis.
She'd make raviolis, and her raviolis were about huge. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
huge. Not these little things. And none of them would break.
That's amazing.
What?
None of them would break when she'd cook them. They were just perfect.
Wow.
She made homemade Italian cheesecake and wine and,
Mom made a lot of good pizza.
yeah, my mom, which was not Italian, but she learned from somebody, but it's like a nut roll, and my mom mastered that.
It was from Mrs. Birch.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't want to say German, but my mom had made a lot of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. A lot of the Italians, we had very minimal cooking or baking. They made pizzelles, biscotti, chops, and that's about it, because they didn't have that in Italy because they were so poor.
Right.
We didn't have cannolis.
Right.
There wasn't that. So they were more the meal portion, and then my
Right.
mom's generation, she kind
There are
of,
parts of Italy that didn't even know what a meatball was.
yeah, there are. I mean, things. You go to Italy, it's not the food that you have here.
Right.
It's completely different.
There's nothing that brings people together like good food.
Right. And we always, my mother was very instrumental in giving her food away and baking for
Right.
everybody.
You hit the door, you hungry, you want to eat?
Yep. And that's
Yep.
how it was all my life.
Yeah.
You'd go to your grandmother and they'd get mad if you didn't eat.
Right. You
Yep.
better show up hungry.
Yep. Yep.
Love
Yeah.
that.
So when
Yeah.
did the golf course come in here?
Oh, that was
But
it was a field and the guy mowed it down and he made it into a golf course. I forgot what the name he made it. And
Well-
then they made it into a big golf course.
so
Wow.
probably about a little after you moved here. So they moved here in 2006.
Okay.
So maybe a few years after that.
Mm-hmm.
Not long. I mean, I think that was the catalyst for this neighborhood because
Right.
of the golf course.
Right. Do you get any golf balls in your yard? Because you're on the very
All
edge
the time.
all the time.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. Surprisingly,
One could have been mine. I'm not gonna lie.
but he likes to sit out and watch the golfers and.
Billy the horse is buried back there.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
think about
you
Billy.
said that, yeah.
Yep. I like that. That's too funny. Do you want to do some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, let's do some rapid fire
Okay.
questions.
All right. We usually do this at the end of our podcast just to get to know you guys a little bit deeper here.
Okay.
What's your favorite restaurant here in the Carbon Valley area?
You ate at home all the time, didn't you?
Well,
Yeah.
we ate at home. Yeah, we didn't have a lot
Holy
of restaurants.
Stromboli is one of the best.
Oh,
in
that's a
Fort
good.
Lupton.
That's
You
a,
like
that's a good
that
answer
one,
though.
yeah.
Holy
I mean, we
Stromboli.
eat at Pepper's a lot.
Yeah.
Gabe's a lot for breakfast after church.
Perfect.
We hear Gabe's a lot.
We
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Gabe's is-
it's good. It's really good.
It's some really good
Yeah.
home cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We enjoy that.
We've probably seen you there and didn't know you.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you have.
Now you're gonna know us.
Yep.
Right.
Maybe.
Oh, that's too funny. All right. Bill, are you a book reader or a podcast listener?
More of a podcast.
Do you have a favorite?
I just been listening to Anderson Cooper.
Nice. Yeah.
He has a new one about grieving since my mother just passed, so that's
Sure.
been a good one to listen to. My mother was a librarian, and it's funny, none of us boys, there's 3 of us, never
Are into
read.
books.
We were horrible.
She loved Hallmark.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. See, I
can't
live
beat
right
Hallmark.
here, so I'm.
Oh, you
you
are right
are.
down the street.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so great. This is a beautiful neighborhood too. I love this neighborhood.
Yeah,
of our farms.
we're very lucky.
Very cool.
That is
That's
awesome.
More, and you have a baseball hat on him. Seemed like they put a farm hat on him.
Well, didn't he always have a baseball hat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cute Doberman. Well, you gentlemen, Bill, Mike, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you taking us for a ride. We, like we say, love where you live, and these gentlemen have definitely loved where they've lived. So, hope you enjoyed the podcast. We look forward to our next ride.
Yes,
Bye,
thank
everyone.
you.
Well,
Bye
thank
for
you.
now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.